the Nazis did not truly lose World War II. They made it appear that way in order to distract attention from the alliance between the Fourth Reich and the race of aliens known as the Reptilians and primordial galactic civilization obsessed with conquest and domination. After the German surrender in 1945, the Nazi-Reptilian alliance infiltrated the United States military-industrial complex. Through Operation Paperclip, the Nazis and Reptilians removed their political opponents, such as the Kennedys, and moved into policy-making positions in post-war America, penetrating aerospace companies, banking, media, and the U.S. government, including NASA and the CIA. But their real target was not the United States, it was our solar system. As Len Kasten reveals in his new book, startling detail including exposures of anti-gravity propulsion technology, alien techniques of mass mind control, and hyperdimensional teleportation experiences, the Nazi-Reptilian alliance used their newfound power, fortune, to influence the introduction of a secret space program with interstellar spaceports in Antarctica and on Mars, as well as in base of operations on the Moon. They initiated mining and manufacturing operations on Mars and Ceres, forming colonies there and elsewhere in the solar system. And, most contemptible, they have used thousands of abducted human slaves, easily transferred from Earth in their spaceships, for both work and sexual exploitation. Some of these abducted slaves are taken as young as 2 years old, trained for years and put into unbelievable conditions. Sharing witnesses from American and British abductees to super soldiers who are forced to take part in the 20 and back age-regression programs, there are countless forces inside and outside government that are fighting the Nazis and frustrating reptilian attempts to achieve total domination of the planet and our solar system. The United States-led secret space program has its own fleet of spaceships, the Solar Warden Space Armada, which patrols the edges of the solar system and poses a growing threat to the Nazi Dark Fleet. We are not alone in the universe. When our eyes are wide open, we will behold the other species that inhabit and influence Earth in this brilliant work of genius. We see how the Archons and Reptilians have manipulated and mind-controlled our species, yet as our minds clear and souls awaken, their power is being reduced. Their highly advanced gathering of ET influence on Earth tells us we are ready to be guardians of Earth, our chosen destiny in this solar system. The Dark Fleet is the German secret space program. It works entirely alongside the Draco Federation alliance. It operates within the local constellation. Its primary objectives are to help crush rebellions on Draco-controlled worlds, and to help overthrow new worlds for the Draco Federation alliance. Where is Dark Fleet headquarters? The Dark Fleet headquarters is located around the 10 o'clock position of the dark side of the Moon. It was constructed in the 60s to the early 70s. They have many laboratories where genetic experiments are performed, and they have one section that deals in the human slave trade. The Germans carried out work for the creation of a secret project codenamed Base 211. This has been determined by several independent experts. By the end of World War II, the Germans already had 9 scientific enterprises where flying disc projects were tested. Many scientists are positive that at least one of these Third Reich enterprises was transferred to the Antarctic. Famous researchers claim that from 1942, thousands of concentration camp prisoners, prominent scientists, pilots, politicians with their families, and members of the Hitlerjugend were taken to the South Pole via submarine. Some scientists believe that a German base still remains in the Antarctic. Moreover, it is even said that there is an underground Aryan city called New Berlin, which has a population of 2 million people. It is claimed that population of the city researches genetic engineering and space technology. UFOs have been witnessed several times near the South Pole, which is an indirect confirmation of the base's existence there. In 1976, With the help of the latest technology, the Japanese managed to detect 19 round objects at the same time. The objects dived from space to the Antarctic and disappeared from the radar screens. German Dark Fleet Antarctic Base 211. And Aryan-designed human-built reproduction UFOs. Right after World War II, Colonel Byrd, the famous American Arctic explorer, was sent to Antarctica by President Truman in 1947 with a military task force, equipped with the latest military hardware including aircraft carriers, submarines, helicopters, even tanks. What was he looking for, in, of all places, Antarctica? There are all kinds of articles, serious and otherwise, suggesting that he was sent to smoke out Hitler's last secret project codenamed Base 211, although some, who were aircraft engineers, one attached to Hermann Göring's Reichsluftfahrtministerium, was personally present when one of those circular crafts, being tethered to a concrete floor of a large aircraft hangar and propulsion tested in Wiener Neustadt, Austria, broke its moorings and shot through the ceiling, damaging it and the aircraft severely. I can say with certainty that advanced research, production, and flight testing were definitely going on during World War II of these circular flying craft, some which could reach incredible heights very quickly and obtain high speeds in horizontal flight, well in excess of the speed of sound. German Dark Fleet and secret space programs surface into public awareness. There's now growing awareness of the fact that huge secret space programs, SSPs, developed during the post-World War II era, involving combined human and ET breakaway civilizations with super-advanced technology, including free energy, anti-gravity interstellar fleets, human cloning and age reversal, directed energy weaponry, and portal jump gates, while abducting huge sums of human slaves, assets, and siphoning great amounts of financial resources away from national treasuries on a continual basis. President Dwight Eisenhower met with representatives of a post-Nazi network possessing advanced ET technologies and made agreements with them at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico, February of 1955. Those former Nazis were holed up under the Antarctic ice along with their reptilian ET partners, Draco-Reptilian and Grey Aliens, that being the network that defeated the 1947 Operation High Jump expedition by Admiral Richard Byrd to investigate what they were up to. The space fleets of mixed Nazi and reptilian ET composition that have been flying from under the Antarctic ice to destinations throughout our galaxy during the past 50+ years are known collectively as the Dark Fleet or, in German, the Nachtwaffen. The 1955 Holloman AFB agreement, never acknowledged by the CIA, or US government elements who've known of its veracity ever since, granted advanced technology transfers to the US military-industrial complex in exchange for permission for limited human abductions, for genetic sampling. Never mind that no such agreement is constitutional or lawful, the US government and top defense contractors have been forced into plausible deniability lying about a mountain of related crimes during the 60+ ensuing years. Secret space program or Dark Fleet experiencers continue to add influence to idea of breakaway civilization. Secret space program experiencers, those who claim to have been, or still are, part of the SSP, continue to step forth in mass. It seems the floodgates have opened as more and more SSP experiencers recover their memories and go public with their accounts. The terms SSP experiencers and SSP experiencer are good to describe these brave individuals who, in all cases, have undergone severe trauma and mind control as they were inducted into highly secret and otherworldly military programs. Secret space program composed of many groups and corporations with varied interests and missions. The revelations of SSP experiencers such as Michael Rolfe, Randy Kramer, Corey Good, Tony Rodriguez, Penny Bradley, Michael Gerloff, and many more has given us clues that there is a whole other world going on behind our backs, a phenomenon termed the breakaway civilization. Even if not all of these people are credible, they do corroborate each other on certain themes and details, such as the idea of a 20 and back program, bases on the Moon and Mars, age-regression technology, teleportation technology, and cloning technology, and their memories wipe of all off-world experiences and then returned back in time, a few minutes to a few hours right after they were abducted. The abductee will only experience minutes or an hour or two of lost time, and their family and loved ones will never even notice they were gone for 20 years. MDF, Mars Defense Force. The MDF is the main defense organization on Mars. Both Randy Kramer and Penny Bradley describe its main function to defend the Mars Colony Corporation from the indigenous Martian species, including a native reptoid and insectoid, raptor and mantid, ET species. Penny Bradley claims to have been abducted as a child and raised on Mars within the Nazi breakaway civilization secret space program, SSP, known to have bases there as well as under the Antarctic ice. The Nazi Draco's Greys SSP network. Penny speaks of is known popularly as the Dark Fleet, Nachtwaffen being its German name, and is definitely for real. Super soldier Jimmy Payne, aka Dallas, had his experiences in the secret space program from 1959 to 1996. During this time, he was a shuttlecraft pilot for the Tall White Warriors at Area 51 and participated in time travel missions with the Montauk Boys at Camp Hero. He also recalls working for the Wayland Corporation, where he encountered a xenomorph at LV-426, which the movie Aliens were based off. He was stationed on Mars, Titan, the Moon. Tony Rodriguez discusses the 20 years he spent as a slave, which included 13 years working on a cargo space vessel based out of the Dark Fleet series colony. Tony begins by discussing his time in Peru and Seattle, Washington, where he was exploited as a psychic and then as a sex slave before being sold off to the Dark Fleet. He discusses regular visits to Antarctica, which was considered high command by Dark Fleet personnel. Solar Warden is a program run by the U.S. Navy Secret Space Program, responsible for monitoring all incoming and outgoing traffic in the solar system. It patrols and defends our solar system. Some SSP experiencers have suggested that Solar Warden's real purpose is to protect the surface of the Earth to prevent ET disclosure. Solar Warden was created in 1970s and 80s, and is a mid-level SSP. The ICC has more advanced ships. Nachtwaffen, this a German term literally meaning night weapons but better translated as Dark Fleet. We know about this thanks to the revelations of Penny Bradley. Penny was transferred to the Nachtwaffen from the MDF as a punishment. Joseph W. Powell is a government hybrid and galactic starseed who was utilized in Project Ibis and Mannequin. He has also served as an officer in various MILAB and SSP groups including Solar Warden, the German Mars Defense Force, Nachtwaffen, the Merchant Marine Fleet, Ashta Galactic Command, and also a few Earth units. He has decided to come forward to share his experiences as a self-appointed mission to stop the abduction and abuse of children and to help assist waking up as many super soldiers as possible for the coming threat to humanity. That is, an intergalactic battle with various regressive ET and German factions which are seeking domination of our timeline. SSP experiencer Kevin Trimmel claims he was abducted by a white TR-3B triangular UFO and placed into the SSP, specifically into an operation called Solar Warden, which, as he states, has been running since the 1970s. Kevin became an empath, was loaned out to ICC on Mars and trained in remote viewing. Then in 2009, his blank slate memory wipe broke down and he started his recall. Kevin claims there are two factions of the New World Order, a Rothschild communistic side, which runs Solar Warden, and a Rockefeller Nazi Fourth Reich fascistic side. Ileana Star Traveler, real name Elena Kopolnik, claims she was abducted by reptilian alien beings during the ages of 2 and 10, that her DNA was changed and that she grew up on Mars. She worked for a company, Monarch Solutions, where they trained her psychic abilities, then worked for the ICC in a quantum time leap program. There are other locations of the Dark Fleet bases. It should come as no great surprise that the Dark Fleet today has a major base in the Aldebaran star system, in addition to bases in our solar system such as Mars and the planetoid series. This is especially if there is a portal from Antarctica to a planet in the Aldebaran star system. The Dark Fleet has since grown into a powerful military space force with bases in Antarctica, on the Moon, Mars, and elsewhere in our solar system. Furthermore, the Dark Fleet is behind a galactic slave trade involving millions of missing people, and regularly conducts interstellar operations against peaceful planetary civilizations. According to Corey Good, there is very little intelligence on what is happening inside of the moon base used by the Dark Fleet. In addition to Carolyn Hamlet's testimony, there is a military abductee who claims to have been taken to a secret moon base where gray ETs play a role, and recalls traumatic experiences happening to her. The Dark Fleet was being hammered by the Earth Alliance and the Galactic Federation, on Earth, Mars, and in this star system, and the Antarctica Exodus was the very proof that all of this was real. The German Fourth Reich in disguise. If Americans and Britons knew what was happening inside Germany, they would be shocked. If they knew what was happening inside the Vatican, they would be even more shocked. It's time to remove the disguise. Today the Germans and the European Union are once again focusing the people's minds on the Holy Roman Empire. Otto von Habsburg said, "The European community is living largely by the heritage of the Holy Roman Empire, though the great majority of the people who live by it don't know by what heritage they live." Notice, the great majority don't know they are even now living by the heritage of the Holy Roman Empire. That is because it has mostly been underground. But that is changing fast as the empire grows in power. America and Britain and planet Earth are even more unaware of this great, fast-rising empire. The people of Europe need a specific focus to stir their imaginations. And they are getting just that. Habsburg, a descendant of the Habsburg dynasty which ruled the Holy Roman Empire for 400 years, talked about a crown in a museum in Vienna, Austria, which symbolizes a great deal to the Germans and the Vatican. He said, "We possess a European symbol which belongs to all nations of Europe equally. This is the crown of the Holy Roman Empire, which embodies the tradition of Charlemagne." Charlemagne was crowned emperor of the Holy Roman Empire in 800 AD, the First Reich. Habsburg failed to mention that the Holy Roman Empire also embodied the tradition of Mussolini and Adolf Hitler, leaders of the Third Reich. Europe is once again becoming mesmerized by the crown of Charlemagne just as Hitler was. Most of the time, over 1,500 years of history, the Holy Roman Empire has been dominated by Germany and the Vatican. The Vatican helped Nazis escape during World War II. None of Germany's UFO scientists were captured, and none of the German UFO technology was found when the Allied forces stole everything else from their country at the end of WW2. Wernher von Braun, who famously went to work in the United States, was a rocket scientist. This was very old technology compared to what the UFO scientists were developing. Around 250,000 Germans were unaccounted for at the end of the war. The population censuses showed around 250,000 were missing. Some German U-boats were intercepted heading to the South America region carrying many young men. Few U-boats that were intercepted had many more men than what was needed for a U-boat crew. Many, if not all, of the large German U-boats were found to be missing by the Allied forces when they ransacked Germany. Prepare yourself psychologically. Please have an open mind. It's always important to stay open to new ideas. Yes, This stuff is hard to believe, but so are so many truths of the worldwide conspiracy and New World Order which were initially thought of as crazy and which were later proven. Obviously we need more concrete evidence to confirm the existence of the SSP, but ask yourself, why do all these SSP experiencers have such vivid detail and such a correlation of general themes, if they are all delusional hoaxers? Remember, one of the reasons that the SSP is so secret is because the torture, child kidnapping, rape, trauma, ritual abuse and mind control that takes is so horrific. Their accounts of the German/Nazi influence on the SSP matches up with research on how and why the Nazis really won the war. I strongly believe we all need to psychologically prepare ourselves for the very real possibility that these incredible secret programs, operations, and projects are going on behind our backs. It is a massive understatement to say that, if true, these programs will totally and fundamentally change our idea of who we are and what our place in the cosmos is.